This is the first episode of No Budget Podcast. This is Paul. I am your host. And this is the guest star, Greg.
Hello.
So, podcast 1, testing.
Testing.
Alright. So, Greg, what do you think about taxes?
Well, you see, I don't have a job, so...
Are you evading taxes then?
I guess in a way.
How do you think the government feels about that?
I mean, they probably don't like it, but, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to get
Okay,
a
so
job.
switching it up, what do you think about birdhouses?
Well, I mean, it's great that we're replacing their habitats, but I mean, like, how do they even get through those holes? I mean, they're so tiny.
So if you were an owl, you'd feel discriminated.
Yeah, I mean, my head probably wouldn't fit through it, so...
Yeah, that would be problematic.
I mean, it's like people favor the smaller birds or something. I mean,
Yeah, I find that offensive. I think we should have equal rights for all birds, including the bigger ones.
Me too.
Okay, good. So, Gregory, what do you think about rose bushes?
They hurt my feelings.
So you say they hurt your feelings, right?
Yeah.
Go a little bit more in depth with that, please.
Well, I mean, do they really have to have
What size
thorns?
shoe do you wear?
I'm like 11 and a half.
11 and a half?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that's intense.
Uh-huh.
At what age did you become that foot size?
Like half a year ago.
Huh.
So I might be a 12 now.
Might be a 12.
Mhm.
So you think this whole time you've been wearing shoes which are too small for you?
I don't know.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
Ow.
This is brought to you by Charcoal. And we're back from our commercial break. Live, this is Paul with the guest star Greg.
Hey.
So, Greg, previously we were talking about everything from birds to shoe sizes. I believe we left off on shoe sizes.
Yeah.
So, incorporating that a little bit into the cosmic trend of the universe, what do you think of clouds?
I mean, they're just like weird, right? They're like why are they up there?
Here you go.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. So, do you have any corporate sponsors?
I mean, there's charcoal.
Charcoal.
Yeah.
This episode brought to you by Charcoal.
Check them out.
Check
They're
them out.
They're pretty dope. Let me like move this a little bit. There we go. Okay. Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on vaccines?
I have a moral and ethnical and spiritual obligation against them.
So, the other day,
Mm-hmm.
I was driving my car down the street.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
driving down the street, right?
Right.
And I saw a lady advertising for some sandwiches. Okay?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on sandwiches?
Well, you know, that one's a little bit personal for me.
Okay. Go in depth.
Like, deli meats are okay, but
Right, of course.
meatballs, though.
What about the meatballs?
I feel lonely when they don't have enough garlic.
Do you relate to this? On a spiritual level.
Okay.
So now that we live in Texas, what are
Uh-huh.
your thoughts on the ever-prevalent rain gauges?
I mean, I think we'd be lost without them because that's all anybody ever talks about here.
Camera doesn't exist.
Why are we doing this then?
We're talking to each other.
Oh, sorry.
We are podcasting.
I mean, that's all anybody ever talks about. I mean, somebody here gave us a housewarming gift of a rain gauge so that we feel like we could like talk to people about stuff, and we. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, see, when we moved here, as Greg said, we got some rain gauges. And I'm just really glad people were caring for us on that deeper earthly spiritual level where they really cared that we cared.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's your least favorite cereal?
Probably Raisin Bran without the raisins. So what happens when you don't take health class?
Right, yeah, health class. About health class. So the other day, I was in my neighbor's yard, right?
Mhm.
You know, just doing things you do in your neighbor's yard, you know, average. And I saw some yard gnomes. And
Notes or gnomes?
Gnomes.
Gnomes, right.
Yeah.
Gnomes.
Gnomes. I just, on a personal level though, I don't like yard gnomes. Like, what do you think about yard gnomes?
I personally think they should be pronounced gnome.
Gnome? Okay.
Gnome,
Okay.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it depends on the gnome.
The gnome, right? Okay.
You have like this one which always like looks up like this.
Right. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I
but-
don't think I'd want that in my yard.
But I mean, if you have the gnome which you're supposed to bury its head in the sand and just leave it upside down, then I mean that's kind of funny.
What?
Like, you know, those gnomes where.
No, I don't know.
Oh. You don't-
So I see you
don't
have a
know.
microphone on your headset.
Mhm.
Can you pretend to be a call prompter person?
Call prompter person?
Let's say I need customer service. Help me with my walnut addiction.
Hello, this is the Federal Food and Drug Administration. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I have an addiction to walnuts.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Let me transfer you to the darn, let me look at my chart here. Do not drink bubble solution. If swallowed, drink lots of water. Okay, here you go. Beep.
Hello, this is Gary. How can I help you with your addiction today?
Well, you see, I have like a problem with walnuts.
I thought that was me.
Yeah, I don't know, but then you were Gary, so I thought I
This
was
is
my
a
turn to
terrible
be-
scenario. Who thought this was a good idea?
I don't know. These are pecans, so.
Oh. So what do you think of all the Texas things? Like, what are the main differences you see here in Texas compared to Pennsylvania?
What kind of differences?
It's up to you to decide.
Okay, people like titles more, like they always call people sir and ma'am and stuff. Didn't do that as much in Pennsylvania.
I have noticed this.
Yeah. And the trucks.
What about the trucks?
Well, there are a lot of them.
How many per capita?
What's a capita?
It's a number.
Per capita? Wait, so how many per number?
Per capita?
Oh, capita?
Capita?
Capita.
Capita?
What number is a capita?
I don't know.
Okay.
Per
I'm gonna
amount?
say about maybe 1/79th.
And we're back. So, if you were to own a wheelbarrow company, what would you name it?
Trying to think of a clever name.
I'd name mine Paul's Wheelbarrow Company.
Oh, that's a good one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
People would be like, man, those really high quality wheelbarrows, but I can't remember who makes them. And then they'd be like, oh yeah, it's Paul Wall.
Maybe borrow a barrow.
Sounds like a rental company for wheelbarrows.
You never said what kind of wheelbarrow company.
That would be a good name.
Borrow a barrow.
That's trademarked, you can't steal that.
Totally.
You know what I forgot to do this whole time?
What?
Make
Turn
sure
it
we're
on.
both in frame. Oops. Who's running this?
Our producer is terrible.
Producer's so bad.
Yeah. Producer, writer, editor person.
I am not a good podcaster. So imagine listening to this without like video, how bad this would be. Just be like, what is going on?
Who knows? You wouldn't get the low budgetness if you didn't.
It is pretty low budget.
Yeah. How much? What is our budget so far?
$4.
Nice.
The No Budget Podcast has spent $4.
So we do have a budget.
Nope.
Wait, so where'd it come from if we don't have a budget? Deep questions.
Right. Ow. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at trimming hedges?
To be honest, I've never tried, but
How good do you think you'd be good at trimming hedges?
that's what I was gonna say. Maybe like a 6 3/4. Do you like pecans?
Is it possible for them to be stale?
I don't know.
They seem chewier than they should be.
I don't know.
What were you doing before I decided you were going to be in a podcast?
Emails.
Well, let's walk through an average day of Gregory.
Okay.
What do you do?
So, I usually contemplate life for an hour.
For an hour. Solid.
Mhm.
Solid. Okay.
Then I wake up.
Then, okay. Logical. That's how my thought process works.
And then I usually trim hedges for a while.
Of course.
I look at the trees there and see why are they so pointy?
I also look at trees and contemplate their pointiness.
And then I get a shovel
Okay.
and trim the hedges some more.
That is how I trim hedges.
Mm-hmm. And then we usually try and do a podcast, but it never works out, so that's why you haven't seen any yet. This is the first one where
This is the first podcast.
this is actually going better than most of them, so maybe it'll actually get put out.
Because the other ones haven't existed.
And this is why we don't have a budget. We used to have a budget, but then
We used to.
we used it all up doing our early podcasts, and now we don't have a budget anymore. But we're still trying to do a podcast.
Early podcasts didn't exist. So let's walk through a version of Greg's day where the emails are the primary thing, like a more realistic scenario.
Oh, so I get up,
Okay.
and I usually try and eat breakfast, but then realize oh, I don't really want to actually make anything for breakfast. And then,
That is a
so
problem.
then I go and I do emails.
Good?
Yeah.
How are emails? You
Um,
being one of the youngest people I know to still primarily use emails for daily correspondence. How are emails and what is the benefit of emails over other forms of more prevalent social media in today's market?
Oh, there isn't.
There isn't. Okay.
No.
Okay, so are you just a 90s hipster who's like emails?
Were emails really prevalent in the 90s?
More so than they are today.
I'm not sure.
The only person who uses emails are people who use emails.
There you go. Life lessons here. Stay tuned for more life lessons.
Stay tuned for more exciting content.
Ah. So, and then I usually usually around 1 or 2 o'clock, Mom gets up and I'm oh, I should probably actually get some food.
Because otherwise,
I usually just don't feel great.
that is a sign of not eating, yes.
Mm-hmm. And then I usually play the piano because my mom's up.
Right.
And then I do more emails and then I go to bed.
Okay, so on an average day, it sounds like a good 6 out of 8% of your day is emails.
6 out of 8%.
Yes.
That makes sense. Oh, another fun thing about Texas. So, we had birds for a while,
Had birds.
but then, like, this cat came along.
Dude,
and
I saw this cat eat.
the birds?
Yes.
Yeah, so it eats all the birds.
It
And
really
then
does.
My mom was, like, sad, and so,
Did she kill it?
no, she just got fake metal birds.
She got fake metal birds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. True.
Yep.
Mom has a weird obsession with birds.
Yeah.
Wonder if she'll watch this.
Who knows?
And we're back!
Thanks for staying tuned, everybody.
Oh, okay.
I know, it's really dusty. Yeah.
Very greasy.
Well, I can tell I haven't trimmed this hedge enough because it keeps on rubbing on my leg.
I hate when I don't trim my hedges.
Yeah, my shovel probably isn't sharp enough.
What's your ample sharpness for a shovel?
Slightly subpar mediocre.
So like the same way you like your bagels.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, I never really thought of it that way before, but I mean, you're exactly right.
Spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Spot on. Unlike the shovel and the bagels.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds like time for a new shovel.
Yeah, I mean, soon I'm gonna, like, sharpen it so it's just like a stick.
And how is that gonna work?
So you keep on sharpening it, because you know
Right.
every time you sharpen it, how you're making it sharper is you take some away. So if you sharpen it enough, eventually your shovel part will just be gone and you just have a stick with a hand.
Sounds good for vampire slaying.
Yeah. You know, maybe I should, like, stop trying to make a living on hedge trimming with a shovel because it just takes too long, but
Right.
maybe go to, like, vampire hunting conventions and win prizes there. But
Sounds like a honest living.
But, I mean, you can't actually make enough prize money to, like, make back your travel costs.
I've run into the same thing on my sidewalk conventions.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you'd think that sidewalks are everywhere, but
They are. They're literally everywhere.
I guess you don't have the right community in most places to
No,
do
the
that.
sidewalk community is kind of flat.
Are they just, like, sidelined? Sidewalk lined by other communities.
So I see you're wearing purple.
Yeah. I am.
Want to get a ride in a wheelbarrow?
Sure.
All right, let's do
Okay,
that.
let's do this.
All right. Okay, so how was that on a scale of 1 to 10?
Maybe a negative 79.
Man, that's harsh.
Yeah, sorry, it just wasn't my favorite activity ever, you know.
When I was a youngster, I just loved being pushed in a wheelbarrow.
Well, you see, it didn't, like, it could have been longer and maybe with bigger wheels.
So what do you think about rain?
Rain's pretty dope. I mean, like,
I
charcoal.
concur.
Take charcoal for an example.
Okay,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Thanks, I know.
Good statement.
Uh-huh.
Nice talk.
I think I've had enough pecans.
Good talk.
I ate, like, this whole thing right now, so...
Well, that ends today's podcast. Gregory is officially tired of pecans. Tune in next time to find out what else happens. We might even have a new guest star. Okay, Gregory, so this camera, or this camera, tell the world what you've got going on.
Flower pots, but with charcoal.